Why did God give me this life? Sometimes it's overwhelming.
Singer icon Beyonce mentioned over 100 times in Epstein files.
And even after some of these horrific allegations, even if it were just alleged, some of the things that happened in the Epstein files are alleged. Captains of industry are going down.
And just like we all predicted, Beyonce is sticking by her man again, even after Jay-Z's name showed up in those Epstein files. Not only has Beyonce refused to address any of those disturbing allegations, but she just surfaced on Instagram to post those polished, very intentional photos of her and Jay-Z together at the Super Bowl. And you know Beyonce does not post randomly. This is all curated, and it's basically her way of saying she's standing beside him without having to type a single word. But here's the thing, that old strategy of staying silent and waiting for it to blow over, it's not working anymore. For years, Beyonce has been able to just glide past controversy without ever really addressing anything. The rumors about Jay and girls, the alleged son he won't acknowledge, the way he sabotaged Colin Kaepernick's protest while pretending he's some pro-black activist, and then of course, all the Diddy drama and the way no one wants to question how the Carters spent decades being close friends with Diddy, and yet they supposedly never saw anything foul. And every time something like this pops up, it's the same play from Beyonce's PR team. No comment, keep it moving, ignore the noise. Then here come the perfectly airbrushed photos, a surprise project, a brand deal, something shiny to distract everybody. And right on cue, the fans line up again, ready to drop a whole rent payment on tour tickets like nothing ever happened. So at what point do y'all pause and ask yourselves, who is this person you worship? If you read even a fraction of the files they released, you know we're dealing with something truly dark and evil. And it's not something you can just scroll past and forget about next week. Now, even if Jay-Z and Beyonce haven't committed any crime, some folks are saying the fact that their names are even circulating in that kind of conversation is enough to make them pause. And you can see the shift happening in real time. More people are now openly saying, maybe it's time to stop idolizing celebrities like they're beyond question. And one person who jumped right into the conversation is Hughley. He's been telling fans they need to wake up and realize that a lot of these high-level celebrities like Beyonce have mastered the art of influence. According to him, people have been conditioned to worship public figures without really knowing who they are behind the scenes. And while fans are busy protecting their faves, they don't even realize they might be worshiping something evil.
We ain't even gonna say these concerts. Y'all real life be going to rituals. Real life be going to get hypnotized. What is this? This what y'all is spending 2 racks on? Y'all spending 2 bands to be a part of a ritual?
Well, DL's whole point is that some of you need to stop acting like you can worship billionaires just because they're black and talented. Because there's no such thing as an ethical and moral billionaire, no matter what race or gender they are. And none of them deserve your sympathy.
So, as oblivious as billionaires tend to be when they see society suffering, is as brilliant as oblivious society seems to be when they see billionaires suffering. It's a reason the Bible says it's easier for a camel to pass through a needle than for a rich man to see the kingdom of heaven.
And as for all those people defending Beyonce by saying, she doesn't have to address anything, she's not a politician, DL said these fans need to wake up because that excuse doesn't work. The things Beyonce is willing to use her huge platform for, and the things she stays completely silent on, tell you everything you need to know about who she really is.
I couldn't agree more. What you decide to stand up for or politically align yourself with is a window into your soul. It is a window into what you believe.
But that's not all. DL also pointed out that the same systems that created Epstein, the same networks that still protect him, have co-opted the entertainment industry. And all those mega celebrities, no matter how polished or woke they look on Instagram, are playing in that game. And Beyonce is not an exception. And that's why this hits Beyonce so hard. People built her up as untouchable, flawless, queen. Meanwhile, she was literally telling you to bow down and calling you the B word, and y'all still lined up to spend your hard-earned money to see her perform. And now, the minute Jay-Z's name pops up in Epstein files, Beyonce decides to flood her IG feed with those perfectly airbrushed photos, trying to give that same I don't give an F energy. Yeah, well, this time, that move isn't flying. Beyonce already lost millions of followers, and if you scroll through the comments on her latest posts, people aren't exactly throwing hearts and praise. Instead, they're saying both she and her husband are going down because these new allegations are simply too dark to to ignore. Someone said, "The audacity to pretend everything's okay." Another person wrote, "Your silence is an answer. You're part of the problem." And another user commented, "You and your husband's fallout is coming, baby." Now, if you're wondering if it's just Jay-Z who got dragged into the Epstein case, well, no. If you check the DOJ website and search Beyoncé's name in the files, you'll see she appears exactly 94 times. Of course, this doesn't mean she's guilty of any crimes, but the fact her name is in there and she still refuses to address it is enough for people to side-eye her. Now let's look at what the files say. There is one email where both the sender's and recipient's names are redacted, and the email says, "Could you please get me," redacted, "tickets to Beyoncé's concert, please." So from what we heard, the only names that are redacted are those of Epstein's victims and his accomplices. So it makes you wonder who was trying to see Beyoncé and why Epstein got this email. But it gets weirder. There's another email sent to Epstein by his former assistant, Leslie Groff, and the subject line says, "Beyoncé tickets for the girls." In this email, Leslie informs Epstein that girls, whose names are redacted, presumably because they're victims, want to see Beyoncé, and she asks him how much she should spend per ticket. Now, you would think that Beyoncé would at least try to distance herself from this, or even show some sympathy for the victims, especially since those emails apparently suggest Epstein bought tickets for his victims to watch her perform. Like, how do you even ignore that? Beyoncé built her entire brand around acting like this feminist role model, this voice for empowerment, and yet not a word about those young women Epstein took to her concert. To be clear, Beyoncé isn't accused of any wrongdoing, but optics matter, and the fact that she's not just silent, but actively posting images showing she's sticking by Jay-Z, whose name came up in an even darker context, says a lot. Just like D.L. Hughley said, watch what these people do and what they choose to use their voice for. That tells you everything about who they are in their soul. And Beyoncé's choices here are speaking louder than any curated Instagram post ever could. It's not just that she didn't speak up, it's how she doubled down with those Super Bowl photos, cozying up with Jay-Z just days after the Epstein files named them both. And now, some fans are even speculating that Beyoncé might be even more involved than those emails suggest. But let me hear your thoughts on all this. Does Beyoncé's silence equal complicity? And how do you feel about Epstein allegedly bringing his victims to watch Beyoncé perform? Do you think this is something she should address? Leave your comments below and don't miss this next video.